he was indeed considered as the most respected elder of his tribe. He had gone to Hajj with members of his tribe who owed allegiance to him. Immediately after Hajj, he went out to go back to his place, his country, his town. And as he was going back, he found that he was trailing the caravan of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He did not want to come close to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He was not anti-Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, no. But he did not want to get himself involved in this battle. He did not want to, he saw that a battle might well ensue between Yazid and Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Sacrifices would have to be made, and he did not want that either he nor his tribe should be involved in all this. And so he kept a good distance from the caravan of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The stations where they stopped inevitably had to be the same stations, but he kept a good distance so that he did not come close to the Imam alayhi salam. But at Zarud, they came very close by, and they had to park their caravans close to each other. But what Zuhair did was, he allowed the Imam alayhi salam to park his caravan, and then he parked his caravan on the opposite side, a good distance from the camp of Imam alayhi salam. They settled in and were having their meal. And as they were having their meal, a messenger from the Imam alayhi salam moves in and says, "I'm looking for Zuhair bin Qayn." And Zuhair says, "It is me." He was the chief of the tribe, and so had to respond instantly, "It is me." So the messenger says, "I am a messenger of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, and he has asked me to visit you and to ask you to visit him. He would like to speak to you." And indeed, when this messenger came in and uttered those words, the reporters say that the morsels that these people had in their hands to put in their mouths dropped from their hands down onto their plates. They couldn't believe what was going on. They were stunned. Indeed, they say that it was as though they felt there was a bird sitting on their heads, as the Arabic proverb goes, as the Arabic idiom goes. They almost felt a bird was sitting on their head, and if they stirred, the bird would fly away. They became absolutely paralyzed. They didn't know how to react. That was exactly what they were seeking to avoid. They were seeking to avoid having to mingle with the Imam alayhi salam. At the same time, how were to tell their chief not to respond to a call from the grandson of the Holy Prophet? So again you can see the eminence in which Imam Hussein alayhi salam was held throughout even Saudi Arabia of that time, the Arabia of that time. Well, when everything was dumb and stunned, the wife of Zuhair, and this is another instance in which the women played a fantastic role in the history of Kerbala. The wife of Zuhair, like what the wife of Habib ibn Madahir did. We haven't had the opportunity to even consider his martyrdom, but inshallah, Saturday night or Sunday day, on the day of Ashura, we will involve Habib ibn Madahir in the Messiah, because we cannot allow these 10 days to pass without his Messiah being observed. Well, so this lady turns round to Zuhair and says, oh my husband, the grandson of the Holy Prophet has made a request that you should visit him, and you are sitting here, you are hesitant to visit the grandson of the Holy Prophet? Isn't this a command that you are obliged in the eyes of Allah to fulfill? And Zuhair does not reply to that either. So she says, go and visit him. Listen to what he says. If you do not like what he says, don't fulfill what he says. Don't tell him anything, just walk away. But at least visit him. He has asked to see you. Don't be so insolent as not to visit him. Do that, listen to him, and then you can make up your mind what you want to do. And Zuhair thought that advice from his wife was a sensible advice, was reasonable advice to follow, so he immediately rose and followed the messenger to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. It is a fantastic scenario with Zuhair bin Qayn. How fortunate could Zuhair have been? And what good deeds he must have made to have achieved this. The Imam alayhi salam was in his own tent and he sat alone waiting for Zuhair. When Zuhair came, the meeting between them was in camera. The Imam alayhi salam gave exclusive audience to Zuhair bin Qayn. No third person even knows exactly what passed between Zuhair bin Qayn and the Imam alayhi salam. It was all in camera, all confidential. But one thing that everybody knows is that soon Zuhair leaves the tent of the Imam alayhi salam, comes over to his tent, and the first thing he says is he addresses his wife and says, I have divorced you. And the only reason why I divorce you is I do not want any harm to come on you. So Zuhair bin Qayn's wife says, so where are you going? And he says, I am joining the Imam alayhi salam, and orders his servants to remove his tent and his luggage and to put his tent in the camp of the Imam alayhi salam. He then addresses the followers who were with him, and he says, I have at this point in time withdrawn my bay'ah from you, my allegiance from you. You were my tribesmen, I was your chief. From this point of time, you are all independent and you are all free. You can do what you like, go wherever you like, do what you want. If you want to come with me, you're welcome to come with me. But I give you your freedom to go away, except for my brother-in-law, that is the brother of his wife. He says, I have brought her here to Hajj. You are with me, and so I had the courage to divorce her. Now I'm divorcing her only because I do not want any harm to come on her. But I would like you to look after her. I have already made provision for her, and she knows exactly where that provision is, so it is all hers. But you make sure that you reach her safely to my house so that she lands safely at her residence. And so saying, Zuhair leaves. So you can see something fantastic, something phenomenal took place in that conversation between Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Zuhair. Of course, needless to think about it, even speculation is not necessary. The Imam alayhi salam must have asked Zuhair where he thought truth lay. Did truth lie with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, or did it lie with Yazid? And if truth lay with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, what was it that was restraining? What was it that was refraining this eminent chief from joining the truth and from fighting for truth? And what is life meant for? If truth is not what one struggles for, if truth is not what one lives for, and that, I say, is the purpose of these majalises in Muharram. That is what we sit here for, to inculcate in us that character of Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam. And Zuhair is not only inspired, but he must have raised the question of his wife also. He must have said to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and this is speculation but for a reason, that your ladies are with you. My wife could join your ladies. And the Imam alayhi salam may well have warned him of the difficulties these ladies will go through. Remember what we discussed last Friday night, that the Imam alayhi salam cautioned Bibi Zainab alayhi salam, saying, the first quality that I want in any lady you choose for your team is immense capacity for patience, because the afflictions that will be mounted on women will be enormous, and unless they have the capacity to bear those patience, they will not succeed in their mission. We will not succeed in our mission. The success of the women as the media team is of paramount importance to the success of my mission. Imam Hussein alayhi salam may well have had those words he uttered to Bibi Zainab alayhi salam in mind, and may well have warned Zuhair that it will not be an easy task for any lady to join this particular team. 64 precious ladies were chosen for this journey. And inshallah, there will not be time now, because after tonight we meet on Saturday night. Saturday night has been dedicated for Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, although I propose to continue with the journey and make progress, so that by the time we reach Kerbala, we would have reached Kerbala also in the course of this journey. Certain details that I need to discuss, I will postpone to Monday night, and I hope on Tuesday night I will come back to the ladies. It is a night that is dedicated in this center to the mother of children, the mother of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. So, as it is a night dedicated to ladies, I will come back to the ladies, and then we will discuss a little more about the fantastic responsibilities these ladies carried and how successfully they discharged those responsibilities. But those subjects for those days. For the moment, Zuhair was warned. But one sees that the moment Zuhair left his own people, joined the Imam alayhi salam, the fervor with which he acted for the Imam alayhi salam is absolutely unparalleled. He was the one, and inshallah we will have time to discuss this, to make a glorious speech on the eve of Ashura. And inshallah on Saturday night we will touch on the speech that Zuhair bin Qayn made. Zuhair bin Qayn made a fantastic speech when Hur arrived. And inshallah we will have time to discuss that on Saturday night. I'm hoping I reach tonight to a stage at which Hur is cited. Once he's cited, Saturday night we will discuss the meeting of Hur with the Imam alayhi salam. And it is a vital meeting, because the Imam alayhi salam delivered sermons at that meeting which I would like to present to you, because they set out exactly the mission of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. However, that Zuhair then delivered fantastic speeches on the day of Ashura. There may not be time, because I only have 20 minutes on Sunday afternoon for the English majlis. I may not have time to discuss the speech that Zuhair bin Qayn made. But when you look at, but I hope Saturday night will be sufficient for me, and I therefore don't want to move on for the moment. But Zuhair bin Qayn delivered a speech that was inspiring, a speech that showed his knowledge of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. That is the startling part, and that is the point I wish to make tonight before I leave Zuhair bin Qayn. Zuhair showed not only the excellence of Imam Hussein alayhi salam on the day of Ashura. In the speech he made to the army of Yazid, he turned round to them and says, do you know who you are dealing with? Your Jannah depends upon him. And if you do not today show love and respect for him, you are doomed for the fire of hell. Imam Hussein alayhi salam did not use these words. Imam Hussein alayhi salam was restrained in the words he used in that battlefield. He did not want to appear to be a person who was using emotional blackmail. He did not want to appear as a person who was using his status as the grandson of the Holy Prophet. So Zuhair realized this. Abbas alayhi salam realized this, but he belonged to Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. He was a brother of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Zuhair, with his independent status, was able to expostulate on all these matters, and indeed painted the Imam Hussein alayhi salam in his true honor, in his true dignity, in the true status that he held with Allah glorified and exalted. That showed what Zuhair knew of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and yet he was reticent to join the Imam alayhi salam. So you can see, when we blame the Kufians, and I'll come back to this on Monday night inshallah, when we blame the Kufians for deserting the Imam alayhi salam, we have to give this matter a second thought, because such eminent learned people like Zuhair bin Qayn had to be explained, even in a word or two, by the Imam alayhi salam. But I dare say, even if this is speculation for your consideration, I dare say Zuhair in his heart must have had that reservoir, heavy reservoir of love for Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, and his knowledge of the importance of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, for the Imam to draw him from his own camp into the camp of the Imam alayhi salam. There are only a few people who were specifically invited to join the Imam alayhi salam, like Habib ibn Madahir, who was one of the first who wrote letters to the Imam alayhi salam. In that first letter that the Imam received in Makkah, the second signatory or the third signatory was Habib ibn Madahir, depending upon which riwayah you follow. First was unanimously Sulaiman bin Surd, but the second or the third signatory was Habib ibn Madahir. The Imam alayhi salam wrote him a letter inviting him to come to Kerbala. That was a glorious honor. But another person who received that honor at that level and of that status was Zuhair bin Qayn, that he was actually called over, invited to join, and had the good fortune of joining instantly. Hur was not invited to join, but had the intelligence to join on his own. Take the reverse, Umar ibn Sa'd, la'natullahi alayh, was invited by the Imam alayhi salam to join and let the opportunity slip from his hands. Monday night on that, inshaAllah wa ta'ala, for the time being a reminder to us, because this is what we are meeting here for. As I said, at every stage and step of this journey there is a lesson. Our meeting here is indeed in the same breath, in the same spirit. We are meeting here to develop. People keep asking us, it all happened 14 centuries ago. Why do you have to meet now? Little do they know that we meet now not in vain. Of course we weep on Imam Hussein alayhi salam, because he would not be a human being who would listen to the tragedy the Imam went through and not weep. He wouldn't be a human being if he could behave like that. But the paramount consideration for us is that in these meetings we develop a nexus with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. As Zuhair developed, Zuhair knew the Imam alayhi salam, and I keep saying, not enough to praise that ark of salvation from a distance and say, what a beautiful ship, what a beautiful ark. You have to climb on it. Man rakibaha naja. وَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا غَرِقَ فَهَوَا. He who climbs on it gets salvation. This is what we are seeking to do. Not only to have the knowledge of the Imam alayhi salam, as many Muslims have, and of his eminence, of his piety, of his glorious deeds, of his sacrifice, and they're telling us, oh, he must be in heaven now after the sacrifices he is given. Isn't that enough for him? Yes. Maybe it is enough for him. We have to develop that nexus with him, because when we develop that nexus with him, we are then not only Muslims, we are Hussainis. And when we are Hussainis, we have the qualities of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And the way to develop those qualities are to come to these majalis where we develop a relationship with him. We develop a closeness with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and ultimately become like Zuhair bin Qayn. We may not become Muslims bin Aqil, he was a Hashemite. We may not become Abbas, he was a Hashemite. We could become Zuhair bin Qayn. He only had a short meeting with the Imam alayhi salam, and the Imam transformed him. We coming to these majalises day in, day out, and seeing how we come is breathtaking. Young mothers with young children in their laps, coming with their husbands, the husbands helping their wives carry these children, bringing them to this mosque, is a fantastic scene we see. And we say, oh Aba Abdullah, we do all this in order to obtain nearness to you. When Aba Abdullah sees these mothers and these fathers come to these majlises with their children, how moved they must be. And one dua, this is all we care for, one dua from Imam Hussein alayhi salam can buy us our salvation. But the more permanent matter is to obtain that relationship which Zuhair managed to obtain. I will deal with that on Saturday night again. It is an experience that keeps repeating itself. Hur was not invited, but he got that inspiration exactly as Zuhair bin Qayn did. And he also made an inspiring speech on the day of Ashura. But this is how Zuhair became totally converted to the cause of the Imam alayhi salam, and joins the Imam alayhi salam. And from that point onwards, and this is the last point I wanted to make on Zuhair, and from that point onwards, he was a respected commander in the army of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. On the day of Ashura, Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam held the central position. Habib ibn Zawahir held the right wing. Zuhair bin Qayn held the left wing. So you can see he was an eminent warrior also. But to have been trusted with that wing by Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, because the final word was with Imam alayhi salam himself, but Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam was the commander of the field, giving the left wing to Zuhair. He must have trusted the military acumen of Zuhair bin Qayn. So he became a trusted officer in the army of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Well, this is how we can change our lives. Those who are today distant from Imam Hussein alayhi salam can be drawn into the field and into the affairs and the army of the Imam alayhi salam. However, next morning then, from Zurud, this caravan moved on. It moved on, and as it moved on the next day, with Zuhair now in this camp, the Imam alayhi salam sees two persons from the opposite direction, and he realized that they were coming from Kufa. Behind him were two other Asadis, Abdullah bin Abdurrahman and his companion. And Abdullah bin Abdurrahman said, the moment we finished Hajj, my companion and I said, what must have happened to Hussein alayhi salam? They might well have heard the speeches in Mina that the Imam alayhi salam made, which we touched upon. And they must have heard him speak in Makkah also, for that matter. May have been difficult because the Imam alayhi salam left on the day of 8th of Dhul Hijjah, but they may have heard him in Mina. However, they decided to seek to know what happened to the Imam alayhi salam. How did it all end? So they decided they would gallop behind him and track him down to know exactly which path he is taking and what he is doing. Incidentally, when the Imam alayhi salam was moving on this track, and so these people from Kufa, these two Asadis were already behind him. What do they see? They see the Imam alayhi salam, on seeing these two men from Kufa, turn weird to the right in order to go to them and speak to them. But as the Imam alayhi salam veered to the right to go to them, they veered to the left to go away from the Imam alayhi salam. And the moment the Imam alayhi salam noticed that, he veered straight and continued on his path and left them alone. Look at the akhlaq of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Obviously, he wanted to know what was the position in Kufa. These two people coming from Kufa would give him up-to-date intelligence reports of what was going on in Kufa. What was the situation of Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam? What was happening to Qais, his messenger, who had not returned? So he must have been over-anxious. And yet the moment he realized that those people did not want to speak to him, he turned away from them, did not interrupt them, did not disturb them, did not irritate or annoy them. That is the great akhlaq of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, which I promised you we will keep noticing in him, because it is innate in him, it is inbuilt in him, that akhlaq. So we keep noticing that eminent behavior, that nobility of the Imam alayhi salam at every stage and step of his journey. He moves on. These two people decide that they will not let this situation go. The akhlaq of the Imam alayhi salam stopped him interfering with these two people. They veered to the right and went and blocked these two people and saluted them. These two people had no problem meeting these two civilians. And they first asked them who they are. And Abdullah bin Abdurrahman says, we are Asadis. What tribe do you belong to? Because we came to you because we thought you too were Asadis. They said, yes, indeed, we are Asadis. Exchanged names, exchanged family relations, realized that they could trust each other. And Abdullah bin Abdurrahman says, I asked him, where are you coming from? They said, Kufa. And they said, what did you see in Kufa? And they said, we recognized the man who was trying to come to speak to us. We recognized him as Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. We didn't have the heart to get to him. We would not avoid meeting a person like him and kissing his hand. So you can see how far and wide the respectability and the piety of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was shining in all these Islamic places, whether it was Arabia or Iraq or. We would not have missed that chance, but we did not have the heart to see him because he would have asked us what happened in Kufa. And we didn't have the courage, the stamina to reveal to him. So Abdullah bin Abdurrahman says, why? What have you seen that you were so shuddered to reveal to the Imam alayhi salam? And they said, enough to tell you that when we left Kufa, the bodies of Muslim ibn Aqil and the body of Hani bin Urwa were being dragged on the streets to be brought to the marketplace. And that speaks for itself, and we want to say no more. And these people said, we want to hear no more. And they left these two people on their path, galloped behind the Imam alayhi salam, could not catch up, could not overtake the Imam alayhi salam. So you can see the Imam alayhi salam was also doing a reasonable pace to get to Kufa, because that was his initial destination. Well, ultimately, the Imam alayhi salam made a station at Tha'labiyah. At Tha'labiyah, these two Asadis overtook him, came to him and said, Yabna Rasulullah, we have some news for you. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, yes, tell me what news you have from you. This is after the salutations. And they say, do you wish us to tell you here in public like this because you have people with you? Or do you wish us to tell you in private? He turns around, looks at the companions around him. Glorious were the words of the Imam alayhi salam in response. He turns around to his two visitors and says, there is no secret, there is no veil that I have from these people who are listening to our conversation. That is the trust and confidence the Imam alayhi salam had in his companions. And the people standing next to him were the sons of Aqil, the brothers of Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam and the sons of Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam, and Abul Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam, because he was always next to the Imam alayhi salam, always guarding him, always keeping a watch to see that if there is any need for any requirement from the Imam alayhi salam, he was ever ready to furnish it. So these people say, if you wish us to say in public, we will. And they turn to the Imam alayhi salam and say, we saw you trying to speak to those two Asadis. They veered to the left and you left them alone. We knew your akhlaq did not permit you to get close to them. We did. We are Asadis also. And we told them that they are Asadis. And we asked them the news in Kufa. And the Imam alayhi salam said, that's exactly what I was keen to know. They said, yes, we realized you would be keen to know, and we thought we rendered this service to you. And we have extracted the information from them, and the last word they have is that the last thing they saw as they left Kufa was the body of Muslim ibn Aqil and the body of Hani bin Urwa were being dragged in the streets of Kufa to be brought to the marketplace. And the Imam alayhi salam turns around and repeatedly said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. May Allah have mercy on Muslim ibn Aqil. May Allah have mercy on Hani bin Urwa. And kept repeating this. Then, after condolences, these two Asadis turn round to the Imam alayhi salam and says, oh, grandson of the Holy Prophet, do not get close to Kufa. There are no Shias of your left there. There are no sympathizers of your left in Kufa. Do not go there. They will harm you. They will injure you. It is best that you remain in Tha'labiyah for a while and reconsider your position. The Imam alayhi salam turns round to the sons of Aqil, to the brothers of Muslim there, and they turn round to him and he says to them, what is your advice? What do you think we should now do? Shall we remain here? Or how do we react to this news? and they turned round and said, Abu Abdullah, oh our uncle, no, we do not remain here. We move on your path. The program that you had set out, we continue on it and we accomplish it. Our brother Muslim was of course eminent, not as eminent as you are. And indeed, we will do one of the two things. Either we will avenge the blood of our brother Muslim, or we will taste death as he tasted death. The Imam alayhi salam, how fairly he treated them, turns to the sons and says, what is your advice? What is your view? Because your view is equally important. And the sons turned around and said, yes, we would also like either to avenge the blood of our father or to taste the death that he tasted. The Imam alayhi salam turns to these visitors and says, there is nothing good in this world that is left for my companions, and hence nothing good left in the world for me after Muslim ibn Aqil and after Hani ibn Urwa. The two seek leave and go away. The Imam alayhi salam orders that the night be spent in Tha'labiyah. Next day he moves out from Tha'labiyah to Sharuk, another shire, Mathia is heard in Sharuk, and after that the Imam alayhi salam moves on to Zabala. When he moves on to Zabala, he does a fantastic thing, and this is why I want to spend 2 minutes on Zabala. Early in the morning, he turns round, gathers the entire company that he had, his complete army that was traveling with him. Strange to see in history, and this is written by Khazrami, the Sunnite person who has written the Maqtal of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, because Maqtal of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Maqtal being the history of the battle that Imam Hussein alayhi salam fought in Kerbala. That history has been written not only by Shias, but it is written by Sunni historians also. A leading Sunnite Maqtal is of Kharzami, and Kharzami says that the Imam alayhi salam always delivered his sermons ex tempo, but that was the day on which he had his speech written out. It is such a small speech, and yet the Imam alayhi salam had written it all out and came and read his speech, which was out of character. You can see how pained the Imam was that he did not even have the will to deliver those words ex tempo. Maybe he felt it would be too hard to deliver those words, so he wrote it down, and the speech went this way: that I have just received news that Muslim ibn Aqil has been murdered in Kufa, that Hani ibn Urwa has been murdered in Kufa, that the messenger that I had sent, Qais bin Mashar, has also been murdered in Kufa. I have no Shias left in Kufa. I have no friends left in Kufa. Therefore, I can see that I am moving towards my martyrdom. Those of you who still want to join me, you are most welcome to join me. But those of you who at this stage decide that you want to part from me, then you are free to part from me. And let me tell you that those who decide to part can part without any feeling of guilt. What a merciful Imam alayhi salam we have, that those who had joined, and he had paid their fare, you remember for our discussions yesterday, he paid their fares to reach where he'd reached. He went and he did not tell them anything wrong when he asked them to join him. Indeed, they must then have thought that 35,000 people, at least 20,000 people have already made bay'ah to Muslim ibn Aqil. The Imam alayhi salam has a huge army there. We will win the war and we'll get a big booty. If this is what made them come with the Imam alayhi salam, the Imam alayhi salam allowed them to go, because the Imam knew that was not going to happen. But the great glory of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and this is why I wanted to spend 2 minutes on this, is the moment he came to know that his own ambassador had been murdered, that his host Hadi had been murdered, that the messenger has been murdered, he found it wrong, he found it contrary to his conscience to withhold that information from everybody who was with him. He made a public speech and he gave them a full opportunity to depart from him. And history records that most of the people who had joined him in Makkah departed from him. There were only those who either joined him in Madina or were subsequently specially selected to join him, like Zuhair bin Qayn, an example we just considered, who remained behind. In other words, the 72 who became martyred in Kerbala. The others all left. Do I pause again to ask, what happened? They too had that association with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They traveled with him, they ate with him, they lived with him during all those days. And yet, the moment they are told that the battle is not going to be won, they are prepared to depart from the Imam alayhi salam. We are asked, why did so many Muslims in Kufa not join the Imam alayhi salam? Why did not so many Muslims in Medina join the Imam alayhi salam? The answer is provided in this episode at this particular station of Zubala, where this is the state in which the Muslim Ummah was seen to be. So long as truth is not the vanguard to chase, truth is not the flag to be behind, success for the Muslims will not be attained. Success for our souls will not be attained. And hence it is important to gear ourselves, to adhere ourselves, to attach ourselves to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. And I keep saying without any hesitation that every matam we make, every stroke of our palm on the chest saying Ya Hussein draws us nearer to Hussein alayhi salam. It gives us that pull towards Hussein alayhi salam, which Zuhair enjoyed and which these people alas did not enjoy. Well, I must pause, because it is a night of Masa'ib at which we discuss two very eminent sons of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Shahzad Ali Akbar comes to Imam Hussein alayhi salam and says, Father, now all your companions have gone. Indeed, Aun and Muhammad have also gone. Qasim has gone. Allow me to go. And the Imam alayhi salam says, Akbar, whenever I wanted to remind myself of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his progeny, and whenever I yearned to see his face again, I looked at you. You are the replica of the Holy Prophet. I looked at you and had solace. And now even you are trying to keep away from me. And he says, no, Father, I am not. But your army now is crippled. I must go and fight for you. And let us see what is the mercy of Allah. And the Imam alayhi salam says, Akbar, the greater right is of your aunt Zainab alayhi salam. She brought you up. You go and get her permission. Go and get the permission of your mother, Layla, because they are more entitled to give you leave than I am. And maybe Zainab alayhi salam says, Akbar, least did I know that we brought you up for this day. This beautiful flower that has blossomed is now going to wither. But your Akbar, go and fight for your father. Go and fight for Islam in your blood and in your death, that Allahu Akbar will remain permanent as it has remained permanent till today. Indeed, then Akbar goes. But when Akbar goes, what does the Imam do? He says to Akbar, Akbar, as you keep going, keep looking behind so that I have one more glimpse of you. That is the love of that father for the son. Akbar goes in that way, and Akbar delivers a valiant speech, and then carries out a valiant battle with those people. As Shah Qasim did, so did Akbar fight those people. And indeed, in the duels he had, he fought eminent fighters and killed them, put his name as a leading warrior of Kerbala. And then came the time when the spear of Sinan was pierced into his body, and he could not take it anymore. He collapsed, calling for his father. The father gallops to his son, catches him at the last moment, finds him with his hand on his chest, says, Akbar, why are you having your hand on your chest? He says, no father, there is little pain here. Imam Hussein alayhi salam removes the hand, finds that the edge of the spear is stuck in the chest of Akbar alayhi salam. Imam Hussein alayhi salam now rolls up his sleeves, and having rolled his sleeves, gets on his knees and holds that edge of the spear and pulls it out so that Akbar is relieved of that pain, that anxiety of the father at the last minute, to relieve the son of the pain before his last breath is taken, reminds Ibrahim of how he was not able to deal with Ismail. This is now Zibh al-Azim. This is a great sacrifice that Imam Hussein alayhi salam gives. Indeed, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that when this happened, not only were the angels crying, all the Anbiya, all the prophets in heaven were crying, saying, Ya Allah, this is the limit of oppression that is being carried out on Hussein alayhi salam. Hussein repeats to him, to Akbar, what he said to Aun and Muhammad, saying, any wasiyah you want to make to me? He says, no, there is no time, father, for you to listen to any wasiyah. I only want to say this much, that you were always keen about my thirst, and you were pained about my thirst. My grandfather is already here. He has brought a jam of water for me. As the father is conscious of the pain of the son is conscious of the pain of the father. To relieve the father, he says, my grandfather has brought water for me, and he has kept a jar for you. He is waiting for you. Soon your turn will come, and we'll meet in heaven, your father. He relieved the pain of the father in that way. But did he? Because soon the Imam alayhi salam had to come to the tent, because Asghar was getting impatient. Asghar threw himself down from the cradle. The Imam alayhi salam heard the women crying, so he comes into the tent and says, why this crying and wailing of the women? And Rabab says, Asghar has thrown himself out of the cradle. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam turns around to Rabab and says, Rabab, he is feeling alone in the tent. He also wants to be in the field. Dress him up, and I'll take him into the field. Rabab says, no, master, no, you are not taking Asghar into the field. Whoever has gone into the field has not returned alive. Imam says, this is a 6-month-old child. Rabab says, those are heartless beasts that you are dealing with. They will kill Asghar also. The Imam alayhi salam says, I will make my hujjah. I will give them the argument. I will give them the opportunity to give Asghar water, lest Asghar should perish in this thirst. But get him ready, get him dressed. And indeed, Rabab puts on a dress for Asghar, making him look like a soldier, and puts a small sword on the waist of Asghar, saying, Asghar, you also are the grandson of Ali ibn Abi Talib. You also go and make your jihad. The Imam alayhi salam brings him and turns round to the people and says, this is my 6-month-old child who has not had water for 3 days. All I am doing is seeking water for my child. How can a person be in a more helpless position than that? How can he make a more human request than that? Water for a 6-month-old child. And Umar ibn Sa'd and then says that if you feel that I will have the water, I will leave him on the ground. We say, Ya Hussein, with what hands did you leave Asghar on that scorching heat of Kerbala, on the scorching? But the Imam alayhi salam was taking his hujjah to the maximum. He then picks up Asghar from the ground. Nobody has given him a drop of water. Indeed, Umar ibn Sa'd turns round because he sees people crying now and says to Kerbala, Iqta'a kalam al-Hussein. And Kerbala engages a 3-pronged arrow. the arrow reaches the neck of Asghar. It penetrates from one side, gets onto the other side, and Asghar makes his sacrifice. The Imam alayhi salam catches the blood, wants to throw into the air. The sky says, if one drop of this innocent blood reaches the sky, not a drop of rain will fall. Wants to drop it on the floor. The ground says, the earth says, if a drop of this innocent blood falls on this earth, not a grain will grow. The Imam paints his beard with the blood of Asghar and says, I will meet my grandfather with the blood of Asghar on my beard. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون.